I'm going to go ahead and start the lesson by making a horizon line. And if you find the top of your page and then the bottom, and for this lesson, we're going to go ahead and do our horizon line near the middle of our page. That way we have room for the box on the horizon, above the horizon, and below the horizon. Let me make this a little bit bigger here. There, so you can see it. And for this lesson, I'm going to do all my invisible lines that will eventually become erased. I'm going to do them in this blue crayon. If you want to go ahead and do them in a pencil, that's fine, because then you can eventually erase it. But I find that the blue crayon is helpful in videos instead of a pencil. So this is the horizon line. So as I'm standing and looking out, this is where the earth would meet the sky at my eye level. So that's my perspective as you're standing straight on looking at this scene of sky, say, and earth. The next point we want to put is our vanishing point. And this is, if I'm looking directly at this scene here, or whatever I'm going to make or draw, my straight eye vision, everything would vanish down to the middle here. So I'm going to do a dot. My field of vision would all come to this dot here. So anything drawn would go down to this 1 point vanishing dot in the center on the horizon line. So now, if I'm standing right in front of this view here, if I draw the box below the horizon line, no matter where I draw the box down here, all lines will merge for the top of the box, all lines will merge to this vanishing point. So at this point, what we're going to do is, let's go ahead and start our sketch here. And I'm going to draw just a box straight on. And for this, if you want to draw the box with a ruler, you can. Otherwise, just freehand sketch the box like I'm going to do. Since this is our beginning practice, we don't have to take the time, if you don't want to draw this with a ruler. But what I do like to do when I make my perspective is to make my vanishing lines that go down to the vanishing point with a ruler. That way they're pretty straight. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the corners of the top of the box right here to the vanishing point. And this box is pretty much straight in front of me. So I don't see these sides. If I did, let's take these corners and I'll show you what they look like. If I bring them back, I would actually see inside the box, if the box happens to be opened. But the actual sides of the box, you see how they are receding back to this point, and I don't see them on this side. So anything that's directly in front of us, we tend to not see the sides here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to decide where I want the top of my box here. So I can make it really close, or I can make it like a cube and have it come back. But when we make this top line, it has to be parallel to the top of the box and parallel to our horizon line. So here's parallel. This line is straight. Now if I bring this up, I want to keep lines equal distance. So now I'm going to put my top of the box on, and I go from side to side, and then the part that will be drawn and not erased is the side tops of the boxes. So I'm going to do the left side first, and then I connect the back of the box to the front of the box, and that forms the top of my box. If my box has no openings, then I wouldn't see these lines. And of course I don't see these lines. And then these are the vanishing lines, the lines that go to the vanishing point. So these I don't keep, I would end up erasing. And there is my box that is drawn three-dimensional, receding back into a 1 point perspective. No matter where I put the box here, all of the lines will line up to this one vanishing point. So if I make another box here, say if I put it up here, then the top will be drawn to the vanishing point. So left side of the box, whoops, this isn't quite on it. Left side of the box, right side of the box, and make sure it's touching the vanishing point, and then it's going to touch the corner. Oops. And now the side of the box I can also see come to my vanishing point. So the bottom side, right there to the vanishing point. Now this is going to have to be parallel to this. So I'm going to go ahead and make it parallel. I drew this a little crooked, so I'm just going to make this a little crooked here. And I'm going to decide I want my box to be about that wide here. This will be more of a kind of a rectangular box. And then the top of the box comes this way, so the top is parallel to this, meaning equal distance. And then I can go ahead and put, these are the permanent lines now. So here is another box to the left of the center box. So I see the right side, and then the top recedes back to the vanishing point. Same goes for this side. If I want to make a box here, I can make a box. This one I'll make a little bit more of a rectangular box. And then let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. Now all lines that come back, I just go to the left side. These are receding back, receding back, receding back. Now if this was opened, this line would come back as well. I'm going to make it a closed box. Then I do my sides parallel to this line. Just do it with this right here. And the top of the box parallel to the top here. Let's put them in. And then connect them as permanent. Parallel and parallel. The biggest mistake that kids make is that they do not put these two lines parallel and these two lines, the sides, parallel. You want to make sure, and you can even measure, that they're equal. So if this is almost a 1/2 inch, up here it's almost a 1/2 inch. And so if this line is drawn down, that's going to be where the 1/2 inch is. So these lines have to be equal distance apart. What you don't want to do, let me show you here with the crayon. Some kids, this is what they do. When they put their line in, they make this a crooked line. And that's not done correctly in perspective. The line needs to come straight down. It should be parallel with the side here of your paper. Now we're going to go on to make a box that is on the horizon line. So this is if you're just looking at it by standing up. On the horizon line means you have a higher vantage point where you're actually standing and looking downward, okay? So you're taller and looking down toward the horizon line. Maybe you're standing up on top of the roof or whatnot. So we have, now let's get the box over here. I'm going to put it right on the horizon line. I'm going to have it cross over the horizon line here. So I'm putting my box. Now the points of the box are going to recede back, this side and this side, to the vanishing point. I'm giving thickness for this crayon here. And then I do the bottom to my vanishing point. I do not see the top of this box, and I do not see any of the bottom or this side. The only part that I see visually is one side of the box, and then of course the front of the box in this perspective, if I'm standing here looking to this box. So this is all with me standing here. right here on the X and looking. The side of the box, again, will always be parallel. So sides and tops will always be parallel to each other. So that means it needs to be equal distance. Say if I want to make it as thick as my ruler, then I line up this with my ruler and make my side. That's the side of the box, and then I can draw in, this is the real line here, and then the top of the box. So that is something that is sitting right here, right in the middle on that view. Now, say if I want to make something that is above the vanishing point and horizon line. Here's my vanishing point, and here's the horizon line. Maybe I see something floating in the air, so it's not on the ground, because this is grounded. So if I want something above it, let's see. I'm going to make this bigger so you can see it. Slide my paper down. So I'm going to put a box that is right here. And again, if you want to draw this with a ruler, that's fine. I'm just going to do it fast so that this video isn't super long. Now I'm connecting all these edges now to my vanishing point. These are the lines that become erased, so I'm doing them in blue for you. All of the corners come to the vanishing point. You want to always make sure you can see that point. Now I'm leaving space here when I do my lines for the thickness of the crayon, but you see how my crayon is actually touching that dot and actually touching the corner. So if you have a thicker lead, you want to make sure you leave room for that. So here is the lines that vanish down into space here. And then I have to do my sides and the bottom of the box. It all has to be parallel. That means equal distance. So from here to here to here to here should be equal distance. Even if you take a tool like this, line it up, and then bring your ruler, that's equal distance. That's going to be equal distance. I can do the same for the bottom of the box. Just line up something else that's going to be equal distance. For the bottom of my box, I'm going to do one of these. It's easier to see. Oops, did I just bump something? Yeah, it's easier to see. It's hard for me to see from this perspective. Okay. I want it to be the bottom of this. There we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to freehand these lines. Following. And now I have a box that is in space. So we have one above on the horizon line here, or actually in the middle of this horizon line, and then below. And if you have something directly sitting on horizon line, it's the same way. Here's your square, and of course the horizon line is going to be the bottom of your box. That's an easier one. And this is going to be, and then right here is your, make it parallel. So if you line up something exact, there it is, parallel. This will be a shorter one. There's something that's exactly on the horizon line. In the middle of the horizon line, on the horizon line. And you notice you only see a little bit of that building here. So that's a building that's pretty far away, or a box that's pretty far away. Things get smaller as they come closer to our horizon line. Now, I did keep my boxes all about the same size. If this was the same building over here, of course, it would be pretty small. But for this video, and it would recede back to the horizon line, so it would be really small like that, if it's the same size as this one. But this is just teaching you how to make them come back to 1 point. And that is our 1 point right there, 1 point perspective of different boxes and cubes. So I hope you learned something, and again, this is a beginning video. This is made for elementary kids, 4th grade, 5th grade, anywhere from ages, I'd say 9 to 12 is would be easy for them to do with this lesson. So I hope you enjoy it, and let me know in the comments how your cubes in space came out.